Hey guys, my name is Daniel. I'm the owner of Sun's Land Services based out of Benton, Tennessee, and today we're going to talk about what you need to know driving a Kubota excavator. First, let's go over some safety tips. What you want is you want to make sure that your track tension is good. So you guys can tell this is a brand new track that I just put on. Tension is good. You have a little bit of slack. If you do need to tension it, you have a little grease zerk right there. It's a grease tension, so you take off that bolt and then you put your grease gun in there and you tension it up. Let's check the other track. As you can tell, the track tension is decent here too. It's missing the cover here on this grease zerk, so you can actually tell. If you look inside here, you can see that that there's a little zerk right there. That's where you put your grease gun. I have this cover somewhere. If not, I'm gonna order one today because you don't want to leave that exposed like that. Once you check your track tension, you want to make sure that your fluids are topped off. So you go here to your compartment and you have your little oil dipstick right here. Make sure you do this, check this when it's cold. You have your little marker lines, and so you guys can tell, here is the top marker line and here's the bottom marker line, and we are right about there, so we are still good. It's due for an oil change though, so we'll get that done. When you do change your oil, I recommend writing the hours on the machine on the actual oil filter so that the next person that changes the oil filter knows how long it's been since it was changed. You also want to check your air filter right here. There's 3 clip-on clips that just clip on like so. There you go. So the first thing you're going to notice with the air filter is you're going to see how dusty it is. Now I just blew this out recently, so you can tap it, and if there's just caked on, you know, dirt falling out when you do that, that's the time when you either blow it out or you shift it. You can blow these out after every dusty day that you've been working. I do that to prolong the life of them, but when they get to a certain point, you know, it's better off just to replace them. If you don't want to run OEM filters, you know, you can get other replacement filters for, you know, about half price online on Amazon or eBay or whatever. So this one can be pretty clogged, but as long as your inner filter is still good, you're still protected. Now, if your inner filter is dirty as well, then you definitely should change that or both filters, in my opinion. So the way it goes back together again is you put that on there, it seats in there with a rubber gasket, and then you seat this back on. And see, you got to get all these tabs lined up, and then this tab goes like so. Click, click, and make sure you get all of those fully seated. Click. I like keeping this thing seated down below. And if you have big debris or something that got sucked in, you know, leaf particles or whatever, just by doing that, sometimes it falls down, and that gives you a really quick indicator if there's something that got in your air filter box right here. Check your radiator level, you know, radiator fluid level right here. You'll have like a full rating right here, and the low rating should be somewhere in between here. Obviously, you know, people run different kind of coolants in these machines. I run red in mine. I believe that is the correct one. And here is your clog sensor for your air filter. You know, that can be reset, and yeah, just make sure that that's reset after you change your air filter. Just take a good overall look at the machine. Make sure there's no excessive leaks or anything caked on stuff that has been there for a long time, or just from seeps. That's okay, as long as you keep an eye on your fluid level with your dipstick. And here's your water fuel separator. You want to make sure that you take a look at that so that's not fully clogged. Right now mine is definitely due for a cleaning. So you unscrew this little caption right here. What I like doing is I like just taking and hosing everything off, making sure that it's really clean. That way when I go to clean everything and I put it back together again, I don't accidentally have like dirt particles or something fall into there and clog it up right away. You have your fuel filter right here, very easy to get to, screw-on style, and these are actually really affordable. So have like 2 or 3 of these on hand, and just change them periodically, you know, just as a preventive maintenance. So You also want to make sure that you check your machines, check your radiators. You're gonna have your oil cooler right here, your radiator, and your air conditioning cooling system. These can get clogged with dirt. Mine is pretty clogged right now. It's due for a change, but yeah. Just don't put any pressure on here with like a pressure washer or whatever. I would recommend a gentle clean. So you go through and just hose it down, maybe with some soapy water, and then rinse and repeat until all these fins are cleaned. And that's gonna give you a lot better cooling for your air conditioning system. Of course, here is your hydraulic fluid level right here. So you can tell nothing is registering right now with all the boom down. And it's probably due to add some hydraulic fluid. So I do keep an eye on it. And then we close it like so. Next, we're gonna be going into the machine and we're gonna be starting it up. Now, when the machine is cold, you want to make sure that you cycle those glow plugs. On especially cold days, you might want to cycle them twice or 3 times, depending on how cold-blooded your machine is and the condition of your glow plugs. So you have your key that's going to turn on, and then you're going to have your little icon here. I'm going to do it one more time so you guys can see it. There'll be like a little coil here on the screen right there, and it turned off. Now, this machine was ran earlier today, so it turned off really quickly, but it has a built-in sensor to where this coil and the glow plugs will actually stay on for a bit longer until it senses that it's ready to start. So what you do on a cold day, turn it on, coil is going to turn on, and then turn it off again, and coil is going to turn on, and then it's ready to start. So close the door, and you can put your seatbelt on. You have your seat belt over here, like so. Just check your surroundings, and you are ready to crank it up. And you got to make sure that this is in the up position before you crank it up, because if not, it has a bypass. See, I'm gonna keep it in down position now and try. See, up lever lock. So if you've done this a million times, you just barely move it up a little bit, and you're able to start it up. Now, my machine has a bit of a belt squeal that goes away if you play around with the throttle a little bit. So you can hear it's fully revving up right now, and then I turn it all the way down and it goes away. See? Okay, guys, we are ready to operate. Get your left joystick here, got your right joystick here. And here, right down here, you have your pattern selector. Now, this is, you either have 2 patterns. You got Caterpillar pattern and you have a John Deere pattern. I run John Deere here on my Kubota. I'm sure there's other names for them too, but cat controls and other controls. I learned on the John Deere controls because I had a John Deere backhoe. It's one of my first machines, and that's how I learned it. And once you learn to do things a certain way, then it's really hard to force your brain to learn it another way. So, all right. So these are your bucket controls right here. You have curl bucket, open bucket right here, and then up or out and in. And here you have your up and down, and then you have your swing side to side, which would be turning to the left, machine swings to the left, turning to the right, machine swings to the right. Over here you have your blade control, which all the way down puts the blade into float mode. I'll show you guys that. You got to push it kind of hard, boom, it floats. Now that's good if you're back dragging material or what have you, or you're trying to skim some area, especially going in the backwards position. You do not want to engage float mode when you are going in the forward position, because the blade is going to dig into the dirt and it's going to bog you down, and you're not going to be able to go forward. So there's that. And then here, this button on top here is blade side to side. Now, some excavators have what's called a 6-way blade, meaning you have the tilt option on the blade. This one does not have that. It just has a standard 4-way blade. So when you're traveling the machine, here's another thing you should not do. You should not drive around with your excavator bucket way up in the air. You increase the risk of hitting power lines or what have you. And it's also, you know, the center of gravity in the machine is way off balance that way. So we're gonna go and swing this way right now. And these are the track controls, so when you move it, you can either use your feet or you can use your hands. I find it easier that when I'm actually operating the machine, I'm using my thumb and everything, grabbing stuff and moving at the same time. I'm using my feet. But if I really want to finesse something and I'm getting really close to a house or a foundation or something, then my fine motor skills are just kind of using these hand controls, and I'm able to get a lot more smooth movements out of the machine. So really good to know. This right here is your bucket. I don't know what it's called. So if anybody knows what this function is called, you know, the official name for it, it says boom, I think boom swing. Okay, it's the boom swing function. Well, this is great for digging really close to walls or whatever, or digging ditches, because it allows that bucket to line up in a different position, and you're able to dig. So if you're straddling a ditch and you're not with one track on each side of the ditch, but you're on the side of the ditch trying to dig it, I'll show you guys how you do that. So if the ditch is let's see, yeah, if the ditch is over here and I'm on the side of it, right, pretend there's a ditch right here next to my track, I'm gonna engage my boom all the way over, and now I'm able to dig very close to that ditch, and without, you know, just without any much difficulty. So this is a very key function, but you got to know how to use it. It's more of an advanced function when you're running an excavator, but it's definitely an essential function. So the way I reposition myself personally, what I like doing is I just kind of like looking down here, making sure that my my little line right here, this line right over here is lined up with the track, just like so. And then when I go to position my boom again, I just basically align it straight forward, and that allows me to realign the machine into the normal operating position. So on Kubotas, they have this really annoying auxiliary option right here. Now every time you get into the machine, you have to press this auxiliary button. This allows you to engage the thumb. And note for you, Kubota, if you are watching, please allow us to have the auto function on the auxiliary instead of having to engage it every single time. So yeah, you have to turn that on to activate the thumb, but as you can see, I'm using my right hand, you know, thumb right now, and it's thumb, you know, thumb down and thumb up. So it also has some, you know, some other controls here, you know, like the continuous flow hydraulic for the boom out there. Let's go try picking something up. We're gonna go and we're gonna pick up this little log over here. So use my feet, use my hands. Another thing, guys, when you are on gravel or whatever, you do not want to be pivoting in place, because you are going to create ruts. Here we are, we're going to grab that log. I'm positioning my bucket, and I am engaging my thumb, and I am grabbing this log. Now we can take this log and we can move it into the firewood pile that I got behind my shop here. So right now I'm actually going in reverse. Now what your brain is going to do is, as you get used to operating a machine, you're going to go backwards as much as you're going to go forward. So I would suggest, you know, well, what I'm saying is the brain is going to compensate for that. So when you switch over, for me right now, I'm facing the direction I'm going. I am going forward, but in fact, on the machine end, I am going backwards. So the brain is an amazing, you know, is an amazing part of the human body, and it just after a while it functions seamlessly and you don't even need to think about these sort of things. They just happen automatically. So another thing I'm going to show you guys is the 2-speed control here. You have your, on the sides here, you have your throttle control. This is your full throttle. This is your, turtle and rabbit right here. So throttling down, throttling up. And then you have your emergency stop right here. You have your lights right here. This is your air conditioning and heat unit. Right now it's on hot. And then you have 3 different settings. Windshield wipers. As you can tell, they work. I need a new blade. And and yeah, that's it. So this right here, though, I gotta show you. Right underneath here is a button. It is a speed control button, and what that allows you to do is it allows you to switch between rabbit mode and turtle mode, high speed and low speed. So watch what happens now when I move forward. Okay, I'm going normal speed. I'm throttling up, which is also increasing my speed, but I'm going to click the button now and watch how much faster I'm going. And down and fast. Now, it might not seem like much, but throughout an entire day of working, when you're traveling a lot, or you're dragging debris from one place to another, and you have to move it, 50 to 100 feet, having that extra speed, even if it's just half a mile an hour faster, makes a big world of difference. So we are now just going behind my shop. I have a pile of wood right here that we chopped up not that long ago. It's just sitting back here drying, and we're gonna drop it. Okay, here's one thing I want you guys to be aware of. These machines, they're designed really well, but sometimes you can align it, like right now, to where the machine and the boom is gonna hit one another. So if I'm not paying attention and I grabbed something over here that was close to my machine, right? And I'm picking it up, and say it's in my bucket right now, and I'm moving the bucket. Look, boom! I am hitting my own machine. That is not good, and it's going to cause damage. It might not break anything, but you definitely don't want to keep on doing that. So just make sure that you pay attention to those things. Again, most things are designed so that they can't hit one another, but that's one of those things that you have the option to hit it if you're not careful. So okay, here's another pet peeve of mine is if you do go ahead and you're finished with the machine for the day, you do not want to exit the machine in this position. Your blade is up and your bucket is up. These machines, especially if they have some wear and tear on them, the hydraulic fluid systems are not completely sealed. So what that is going to do is it's going to cause something called hydraulic sag, and every hour your machine is going to drop a little bit, right, because that fluid pressure is slowly releasing, which is causing the downward pressure of the boom to drop over time. So what I do before I park the machine every single time is I just make sure that all my everything is down. So I position my bucket just like this, and then I use the float option right here on the blade. I just kick that down until it is in the down position, and then what you want to make sure that you do is that you don't want to leave it in the float position, because when you go to start the machine back up, the machine wants to put downward pressure on the blade, and you're actually going to lift yourself up. So just put it down to get it down, and then disengage the float mechanism. And that way you make sure that there's no down pressure on the blade, and it is ready to go for when you fire the machine back up. So once you're done, just turn the key off, and you are good to go. Yeah, make sure that you don't park it in the way for anybody else. Okay guys, hopefully that was some really good information for you. I hope it helped, and I'm looking forward to teaching you guys more. We'll see you in the next one.